Welcome, everyone, to Senior Care Insights. This is where we really get into the details of staying healthy and well as we get older.
That's right.
And today, we're doing a deep dive into healthy aging itself. What does it actually mean? What contributes to, a long and hopefully happy later life?
Exactly. We're going to draw on quite a bit of experience here, looking at both the physical side and the mental side of senior care.
Trying to figure out what really works,
Yeah.
maybe what to watch out for.
And how you, the listener, can sort of take charge of your own aging journey. Practical insights, hopefully.
Okay, good stuff. So where should we start? Maybe with those incredible people who live past 100?
Centenarians.
Ah, yes. They're fascinating. And you do see some common threads when you look at their lives.
Like what?
Well, one thing that often comes up is spirituality or religious belief.
Really? How does that play in?
It seems to act as a kind of anchor for many. It offers community, which is huge, but also coping mechanisms.
Like prayer or meditation? Exactly. Think of them as, well, powerful stress management tools. We know stress impacts physical health massively.
And some faiths also encourage healthier lifestyles, right? Less alcohol, no smoking.
Precisely. So it's often a combination of factors tied into that belief system. It's like a built-in support framework.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, what else do we see in people who live exceptionally long lives?
A strong sense of purpose. It's striking.
Having a reason to get up in the morning.
Absolutely. Feeling needed, feeling like you're contributing something. It's incredibly vital.
Like people who keep working or volunteering late in life.
Yes, exactly that kind of thing. It's a powerful motivator. It drives people to stay active, stay healthy. It's about living with intention, not just existing.
That really hits home. Staying engaged is key. And love, relationships, I imagine that's in the mix too.
Oh, unquestionably. The quality of our connections, it's not just nice to have, it affects our well-being in very real ways. Deep bonds, a good support network, they actually help regulate our stress response. Feeling connected helps us get through tough times, boosts resilience.
Which impacts physical health down the line.
Right. And the opposite, loneliness can be surprisingly harmful. Our bodies and minds seem, well, wired for connection.
It's interesting how these softer things have such hard impacts. Even laughter. Does that really matter?
Yes, it does. It's not just about feeling good for a second. A joyful attitude, using humor to cope.
Yeah.
It can actually trigger physiological benefits, lower stress hormones, maybe even help the immune system. It's about keeping that sense of lightness.
Okay, so we've got spirituality, purpose, connections, laughter. These more intangible things. What about physical signs? Things we can actually see after, say, age 60?
Right. Let's get a bit more concrete. One that might surprise you is skin appearance.
Skin? How?
Healthy-looking skin, kind of pinkish, radiant. It often reflects good overall health, mentally and physically.
And dull skin, or being very pale.
Sometimes, yes. It can be linked to underlying issues. Anemia or problems with the liver, kidneys, heart, lungs. Not always, of course, but it's a potential clue.
Interesting. Like a window to our insights. What's another physical sign?
How someone walks, their gait.
Steady and strong.
Exactly. Walking confidently, without wobbling. It suggests good muscle and bone health, good balance. Mobility is so crucial for independence.
Absolutely. If walking becomes difficult, it changes everything.
Yeah.
What about teeth? They definitely change.
They do, but keeping a decent number of functional teeth is really important.
Functional meaning you can still chew properly.
Yes. The benchmark often used is around 20 functional teeth. It directly impacts nutrition, which is fundamental. Plus, poor oral health can link to other problems in the body.
Right, it's not just cosmetic. It's about getting those nutrients in. Okay, next sign.
Breathing, how easily someone breathes.
Like climbing stairs.
Yeah. Being able to do that without gasping for air suggests your heart and lungs are working pretty well. Persistent shortness of breath needs checking out.
Something we take for granted until it's a problem. Okay, and maybe one more. Are there symptoms that, if you don't have them often, it's a good sign?
Yes. Things like frequent numbness or persistent headaches or regular dizziness. Their absence is generally positive.
Because they could signal issues with circulation or neurological stuff?
Potentially, yes. Occasional instances might be nothing, but if they're frequent or severe, it warrants investigation.
Okay, that gives us some physical markers. Now, what about habits? Daily routines. We hear habits are powerful. Are there specific morning habits, say after 70, linked to vitality?
Well, based on what we see, how someone feels when they first wake up is pretty telling.
Like mentally?
Yes, feeling refreshed, energetic, positive. It often points to good sleep quality.
Which lets the body and brain recover, reduces
That's
inflammation.
exactly. Good sleep is foundational. That initial mental state sets the tone.
Makes sense. Waking up feeling ready to go is a great sign. What else?
How easily they get moving. Flexible mobility.
You mean not needing a long, stiff warm-up period?
Right. Being able to sort of start your day without much stiffness reflects good joint and muscle health. Less likely to have those chronic conditions that limit movement.
That ease of movement really speaks volumes. Is there a third one?
An optimistic outlook. It sounds simple, but waking up generally in a good mood, embracing the day,
That really helps.
we see a strong correlation, that mental resilience, that positive frame. It's incredibly powerful for overall health and potentially lifespan.
The mind-body connection really is undeniable. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Something maybe less obvious. Taste. Is there a link between our sense of taste and longevity?
It's quite interesting, actually. Older adults who maintain a sensitive sense of taste often have better nutrition.
Because food is more enjoyable, so they eat better.
Precisely. If you can distinguish and appreciate flavors, you're more likely to eat a wider variety of foods, leading to a more balanced diet.
That's fascinating. So how can people try to keep their taste buds sharp?
Variety is key. Trying new foods, new recipes, using herbs and spices instead of just salt.
Exploring different cuisines.
Yes. And don't forget basic oral hygiene. That plays a direct role, too. Regular dental checkups matter.
Right. And what if digestive issues creep in? Poor appetite, stomach trouble? That must affect things.
It certainly can. And sometimes those issues are linked to changes in taste or smell. If someone's having persistent problems, it's worth looking into.
Maybe adjusting the diet.
Definitely. Things like less fatty food, more fiber, maybe seeing a doctor if it persists. Sometimes an endoscopy might be needed to see what's going on.
Okay, so staying with diet. Let's break down the essentials for seniors. What are the absolute must-haves?
Well, number one is balanced nutrition. Getting enough protein, really important for muscles. Healthy fats, carbohydrates for energy, plus all those vitamins and minerals.
And water, fiber.
Crucial. Can't forget hydration and fiber for digestion.
Are there better ways to prepare food for older adults? Digestion can get trickier.
Yes. Often softer, well-cooked foods are easier. Chopping things up helps. Steaming, boiling, generally gentler methods. Soups are great too. Hydration and nutrients.
And meal timing. Big meals, small meals.
Regular meals are better than skipping. Sometimes smaller, more frequent meals work well. Easier on the system. Portion control is important too.
Adjusting the balance. Maybe less red meat, more plants.
That's often a good move, yes. More plant-based protein, calcium-rich foods. Watching cholesterol and salt intake is wise too.
And how much water and fiber are we talking, roughly?
Aiming for about 1.5 to 2 liters of fluid a day, mostly water. And for fiber, somewhere around 25 grams is often recommended from fruits, veggies, whole grains.
What about supplements, vitamins?
That really depends on the individual. Sometimes B vitamins, C, D, calcium, iron, zinc might be needed, but it's best discussed with a doctor. It's not one size fits all.
So it's about monitoring yourself, maybe tracking weight or waist size, and adjusting based on your own health.
Exactly. A mindful, adaptable approach.
Okay, let's shift focus now to something huge for well-being. Friends. Social connections. How important are they as we age?
Oh, incredibly important. Profoundly important, actually. It's not just about having fun.
It impacts health directly.
Absolutely. We see it consistently. People with strong social ties tend to have better health outcomes, both physical and mental, lower mortality risk even.
Wow. What are some of those specific benefits?
Well, reduced risk of depression, stress, anxiety. Friends can also gently encourage healthier habits, maybe like discourage smoking or heavy drinking.
A positive influence.
Right. It boosts mental health, provides emotional support, lowers harmful stress hormones like cortisol, might even benefit the immune system and cardiovascular health. And there's evidence it helps maintain cognitive function too, potentially lowering dementia risk.
Like building a cognitive reserve.
Something like that, yes. Staying mentally engaged through social interaction.
It really paints a picture of social networks being like a health safety net. So the flip side, what happens with social isolation?
Unfortunately, the consequences can be pretty serious. We see links to higher risks after things like a heart attack, higher blood pressure, poorer sleep.
Mentally too.
Yeah.
More stress.
Yes, more stress, anxiety, depression, and a potentially increased risk for cognitive decline, even Alzheimer's. It's a major concern.
It really hammers home why we need to actively nurture friendships. What are some practical ways older adults can do that?
Lots of ways. Volunteering is great purpose and connection. Joining clubs, exercise, book clubs, crafts, whatever your interest is.
Traveling with friends.
Perfect. Shared experiences build bonds. And don't discount technology, video calls, social media.
Mm.
They help bridge distances.
The key is being proactive, seeking it out.
Exactly. Don't wait for it to happen. Make the effort.
Okay. Now, something everyone wants more of as they get older, energy and a good mood. How can seniors boost those?
Well, managing stress is a big one. We talked about social support. Relaxation techniques help too. Meditation, yoga, deep breathing.
But maybe not taking on too much.
Definitely. Prioritizing, delegating if possible, reducing unnecessary workload. And then there's exercise.
Ah, yes. The magic bullet.
Pretty close. Regular activity helps control weight, improves cholesterol, builds endurance, and it's fantastic for mood and mind. Doesn't have to be intense, just consistent.
What about bad habits? Smoking? Drinking?
They definitely sap energy and affect mood negatively. Avoiding smoking and limiting alcohol makes a big difference. And sleep. Can't emphasize that enough.
Quality sleep is essential for restoration.
Absolutely. Body and mind. And diet, of course, plays a role here too.
How so? For energy and mood specifically?
Avoiding those sugary highs and crashes helps. Focusing on lower glycemic foods gives more sustained energy. Nutrient-dense foods over empty calories.
Sure.
Staying hydrated, dehydration is a huge energy drain.
What about caffeine?
It can help with alertness, sure, but use it cautiously. Moderation is key, and probably best avoided later in the day so it doesn't mess with sleep.
It sounds like it's really a whole package deal: stress, activities, sleep, diet, avoiding bad
It
habits.
really is. A holistic approach works best.
Okay, let's look at some more scientific clues. Things where research is linked to longevity. What's popped up there?
Well, one interesting one is daily steps.
How many steps? Do we need 10,000?
Not necessarily. Studies suggest even around 4,400 steps a day is linked to significantly lower mortality rates compared to fewer steps. More is generally better, but even moderate walking helps.
That's encouraging. Small amounts add up. What else?
Back to oral health again.
Really? It keeps coming up?
It does. One study found folks with fewer than 19 teeth had double the risk of death within 5 years compared to those with 20 or more.
Wow. Likely linked to nutrition and chronic inflammation again.
That's the thinking, yes. Poor oral health can make other chronic diseases worse.
Okay. What's another scientific marker?
There's a simple balance test. Being able to stand on one leg for, say, 10 seconds in middle age.
And if you can't do that?
Some research suggests those individuals might have double the risk of death within the next 10 years. It reflects neuromuscular health, coordination, important for preventing falls later.
A simple test with potentially big implications. Anything else?
Snoring habits.
Snoring,
Heavy habitual snoring can be a sign of sleep apnea.
which interrupts breathing during sleep.
Right, and sleep apnea is linked to high blood pressure, memory issues, increased mortality risk if it's not treated.
Okay, so worth getting checked out if you're a heavy snorer. One more.
Running time, or maybe just consistent moderate activity. Some studies looked at middle-aged runners.
Huh.
Those who ran consistently, maybe around 40 minutes a day, tended to live longer and have better physical and cognitive health later on. It reinforces the exercise message.
Consistency seems key. Okay, these clues are fascinating. Now, scudding back a bit, beyond our genes, which we can't control, and maybe our environment, what other factors influence how long we live?
Lifestyle choices are huge. We know this. Not smoking is probably the single biggest factor for reaching, say, 100.
A non-negotiable, really.
Pretty much. Maintaining a healthy weight is right up there, too. Reduces risk for so many chronic diseases.
What else? Maybe less obvious things.
Well, relationship quality seems to matter. A happy marriage, for instance, often correlates with better well-being.
Mental health benefits.
Yes, and potentially physical health, too. Also, personality traits.
Liking cheerful. Generous.
Exactly. People who tend to be more optimistic, better at managing stress, maybe more generous, they often seem to live longer. It's about resilience and positivity.
And just sticking with good habits formed earlier in life.
Yes. Consistency is crucial. Those healthy habits you build over decades really pay off. Some estimates suggest lifestyle choices might account for 70–80% of lifespan for people without a strong genetic predisposition for extreme longevity.
That's a huge amount of influence we potentially have. Now, we know the body changes as we age. Can you walk us through some key physical and functional shifts?
Sure. Physically, we might see a gradual height reduction, less body water, often an increase in body fat percentage, even if weight stays stable. Muscle mass tends to decrease.
Sarcopenia?
Yes, that's the term.
Yep.
Organs might slightly decrease in size, too. Functionally, appetite might lessen, chewing or swallowing could become harder.
Less saliva. Stomach acid.
Yeah, correct. Digestion might slow down. Liver and kidney function can become less efficient over time. Lung capacity often decreases. The immune response might not be quite as robust.
Cognitive changes too.
Yes, some cognitive functions might slow, though not always significantly. And unfortunately, the risk for certain conditions like cancer or impaired glucose tolerance increases. Bones and joints can degenerate.
It sounds like a lot is happening. How do these changes impact nutritional needs specifically?
Well, because of those changes, certain nutrients become even more critical. Fiber, as we mentioned, around 25 grams daily, is vital for gut health as motility slows. Hydration, that 1.52 liters, is key.
And vitamins and minerals.
Sometimes absorption changes, so focusing on B vitamins, C and D, plus minerals like calcium, iron, and zinc becomes important. Supplementation might be needed, but again, check with a doctor.
And dietary strategies.
Small, frequent meals can be better. Soft, easily digestible foods, steaming, boiling, varying the menu keeps it interesting. Avoiding overeating, especially at night. And tailoring food choices to any existing health conditions is smart.
It's all about adapting the diet to support the body as it changes. Okay, finally, let's look at the positive side, the hallmarks of healthy aging. What do people who age really well often demonstrate?
You often see great functional ability, like being able to stand up from a chair without using their hands.
Shows leg strength and balance.
Exactly. Reduces fall risk. Also, walking briskly without getting breathless shows good heart and lung function, muscle strength, maybe even linked to better memory.
What else?
Balancing on one foot for at least 10 seconds, again, reflects coordination, muscle control, nerve function, helps prevent falls.
Another simple but revealing test.
Right. Being able to get down on the floor and back up without help, that shows core strength, flexibility, leg power. Crucial for independence if you do fall.
Real-world strength, like carrying groceries.
Yes.
Right.
Being able to manage a bag of groceries without struggling. Grip strength, interestingly, has been linked to longevity.
Climbing stairs easily.
Another good test of heart, lungs, and legs. And then moving to cognition.
Remembering recent things clearly.
Yes. Remembering conversations, events. It reflects good brain health, blood flow, active cognitive pathways.
And waking up feeling good.
Waking rested, ready for the day. It suggests the body's doing its repair work overnight, resetting the brain, strengthening the immune system. Good sleep is vital.
So it's this combination, physical capability, sharp mind, good sleep, positive outlook, that really defines healthy aging. This has been incredibly comprehensive. What's the main takeaway here?
I think the biggest thing is that healthy aging isn't just one thing. It's physical, mental, emotional, social. They're all interconnected.
And we have more control than we might think.
Absolutely. It's about being proactive, making conscious choices, diet, exercise, connection, stress management. Small, consistent steps add up over time.
Right.
We really can shape our aging journey significantly.
That's a really positive note to end on. It's not just about fate, it's about the actions we take. Thank you so much for sharing all this insight.
My pleasure. It's an important topic.
We really hope this deep dive gave you, our listeners, some valuable knowledge and maybe some actionable ideas for your own path to healthy aging.
Remember, consistency is key. Healthy habits and a positive outlook go a long way.
So take a moment to think about what we discussed. Maybe one small thing you could start doing. If you found this useful, please give it a like, share it with someone who might benefit.
And leave a comment. We like hearing your thoughts and questions.
Definitely. And crucially, please subscribe to Senior Care Insights. Click that notification bell so you don't miss our future discussions on senior health.
Keep well.
And here's a final thought to leave you with. What's the single most important social connection in your life right now, and how can you actively nurture it this week? Something to ponder. Thanks for listening.